How do, and welcome back. Well, today I'm going to taste this beer which was brewed with Novelager yeast, but at a much higher temperature than what it recommends on the packet. On the packet it recommends 0 to 18 degrees, that's Celsius. This was just left at room temperature and during the week it was fermenting, we saw temperatures of around 29 degrees. So it'll be interesting to see how has Novelager coped with that, and can we brew with Novelager during the summer, or is it just a winter yeast? So let's get it open. Nicest there, nice CO2. Yeah, let's get it open and let's see what it tastes like. This has been in the freezer for 1 hour, so it's nice and chilled, but then I put it in the fridge and it's been in the fridge all day, so it's been 6 hours in the fridge. So it should be really cold, and I could do with a cold beer right now. So let's get it poured. Now there is a story to tell with this beer. It's not exactly Wilco's feeling hoppy. And that's because I don't know what it was when I made the kit. It's a kit and kilo. I just wanted a quick brew, so it's the feeling hoppy extract and a kilo of dextrose. But all I could taste when I did a hydrometer reading right at the start, it's meant to be an IPA, and there's absolutely zero hop. I'm thinking, because our Wilco's really doesn't do homebrew anymore, and it was just one can on a shelf surrounded by lots of other stuff completely unrelated to homebrew. I'm wondering if they found an old can in the warehouse and they've just put it up on a shelf and see if someone will buy it. But there was absolutely no hop flavour. It was just like just a malt. That's all there was. And it also came with a sachet of 10 grams of Amarillo. And I'm thinking, well, that's not going to do any good, is it? So I went a bit overboard and they added, well, in total it was 160 grams of hops to this beer. So it's no longer Wilco's hoppy cop, not hoppy cop, the feeling hoppy IPA. It's like an American IPA now. Right. Anyway, let's have a look at it. It's a really nice golden colour. It's hazy. A lot of that will be chill haze, but a lot of that is also the hop matter, because I also put that 160 grams in loose and I have no way to filter it. So there's a lot of hop matter in these things, especially in the later bottles. I'm not going to be able to drink the later bottles. It's just a sludge of hop matter. There's one or two specks floating around in here, but this one's okay. It's beautiful gold colour. It's got a really nice white, well, not a really nice, it's like a cap, but it's a really nice pure white head. That'll obviously be because of this has been really chilled, and it's not long been in the bottles, maybe only about 4 or 5 days, but I'm going to get to that when I talk about the yeast. Let's try the aroma. Yeah, so what did I dry hop with? Well, I put the 10 grams of the Amarillo in because they gave me them, and I also had 10 grams left over from of Galaxy from when I was doing the Australian sparkling ale, so I put them in, and then I went a bit mad and I put 70 grams each of Simcoe and Citra. So yeah, 160 grams. So it's going to smell tropical and fruity and citrusy. There's a big lemon hit on the nose there. Blimey. Right, I'm ready for this. I finished work. It's boiling hot and this is ice cold, so cheers. Oh, that's refreshing. Oh, blimey, yeah. That's nice. But what about the yeast? Let me tell you, on the packet it says ideal temperature range, 0 to 18 degrees. Well, when this was fermenting, the weather turned and I think the highest day we had during its fermentation stage was 29 C, and that's bloody hot for this time of year where I live in Lancashire. The average for June is 18. This is 11 degrees above average, and it stayed at that level all week. All last week it was I think the coolest day was 27, like it is today. So this is really being fermented way outside of its temperature range. According to the fermenter, the strip, those thermometer strips, the highest it got to was 26, but it fluctuated between about 23 and 26. Still at 23, that's way beyond its temperature range. So what did it taste like? Well, obviously, this has been so over-hopped that I'm not going to be able to tell. Except for the fact that I did do a daily taste test. And it didn't produce any off flavours at all. The only thing I found that's different from when I tried it at the beginning of the year, when it was winter time, it was about 13 or 15 degrees, it had more of an ale quality to it. It wasn't as clean, it was more fruity, but not much, but it did have more of an ale quality to it. Another interesting thing I found is that at these higher temperatures, it really rips through the wort. This started off at 10:46. After 4 days, it had dropped to about 10:12. And I'm thinking, right, I'm going to dry hop now. That's when I put all this hop in. And then I left those hops for about, about 4 days. So it's about 8 days in the fermenter. And I took a hydrometer reading on the day I was bottling, just to make sure. And it was between 10:06 and 10:08, so it still hadn't finished fermenting. But yeah, there you go. It absolutely ripped through this beer. And within a week I could bottle. So I bottled, and I used 3/4 of a teaspoon of sugar in each bottle. And again, I left them at room temperature, and by this time it may be like 26, something like that. It was upstairs, and it was still very warm, and upstairs of houses are always warmer. A day and a half, 36 hours, they were rock solid. Oh, there you go. So that was a few days ago, and I've had one before just to test it before I put the camera on. And you know what? This is a really nice beer. Obviously, it's really overhopped, so if there is any flavours in there, I won't be able to tell. But that's made me think then of another experiment, or rather two. Hang on. I'm going to brew a lager in this heat at room temperature using Novelager yeast, and I'm going to see how it turns out, because I brewed lagers with it in January, so I know how the lagers turn out, and they turn out spot on, really nice, clean, crisp. This is obviously being hopped, so I'm not really getting the full flavour of the yeast. So can I brew a lager? I can brew a beer, I know that now. I can brew a beer in the summertime with these, high 20 temperatures using Novelager. Can I brew a lager or a pseudo lager in high temperatures using Novelager? So I'm going to brew a clone beer that I've brewed before, and it is pretty close to the commercial. It's the Vorsteiner. So I've got myself some Tettnang, which will be for bittering, and some Hersbrucker for flavour and aroma. And I'm going to put that on this weekend. I'm going to video myself. I am coming to the end of my the lagers I made for my book, so I need another lager. So I thought this would be interesting. It is going to be cooler next week. Temperature I think is going to drop to about between 22 and 25. But for June in Lancashire, that's, you know, average is about 18. So that's great. So the temperature is going to drop. How does it, you know, does it produce a nice clean crisp lager? So we're going to find out. And it's also made me think of another experiment, which is, this is producing a nice ale at these really high temperatures, beyond its tolerance, 10 to 18 degree tolerance. What will it be like at 30 or 35? Treat it like a Kvike. Because it does say on their marketing blurb on the website, and I read this back in January when I was experimenting with this yeast when it first came out. It did say it's been designed, it is a hybrid yeast, yeah. It's been designed not to produce diacetyl and all these other compounds that give these, you know, popcorny flavours to the beers, buttery flavours. It's been designed not to do that. So I'm thinking, okay, so what is it going to produce when it's 30 or 35 degrees? It's doing very well for an ale at 25 degrees, so let's push it a little further. So that's another experiment I've thought about. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. So can you use Novelager during the summer when it's absolutely sweltering? Yes, you can. It's going to be more ale-like, I think. We're going to find out for sure when we do the Vorsteiner. But for now, I'd say it's more ale-like, but it doesn't produce any off flavours. It's perfectly usable. And because it's been designed to work at lower temperatures, you find when you up the temperature, this thing just rips through beers, rips through the wort. And yeah, within like a week, you're bottling without any off flavours, any weirdness, and within a few days of bottling, you're drinking the stuff. Right, thanks for watching. Cheers. I'm going to enjoy this now. It's Friday afternoon, finish work, looking forward to the weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.